Allow me to extend a warm welcome to all the viewers on the internet and around the world. It is sunrise on YouTube, morning on Facebook, noon on Twitter, midday on Threads, afternoon on Twitch, sunset on Instagram, and evening on Rumble. I am your host, the Ancient One, the Bachelor Supreme, the Phantom Menace, he who remains, and the master of the deceptive arts. We are broadcasting live directly from the sanctum of solitude and the citadel at the end of time. In order to be a bachelor, you must lose that which you love. An everlasting exchange. A wife for a life. Good evening, everyone. It's the Bachelor Supreme here, the Ancient One, back with another video. And today, I'd like to talk about sacrifice. And in particular, the sacrifice that you must make and be ready to make if you are going to truly live the bachelor life. For all its glory and benefits, indeed, the bachelor life does not come for free. It does demand a sacrifice. And today I'd like to discuss the 5 very critical things that you should be ready to sacrifice if indeed you want to live a bachelor's life. You cannot live the old life that you had and follow the old ways that you used to as a colossal knee bender who is destined for epic failure. If you are going to be a bachelor, you have to let go of those old ways, which begs the question, what is it exactly that you must let go? And in my opening statement, I said that you must lose that which you love. So I have to ask you now, what do you love? What are you attached to that you need to let go of? And I have a list of things that I'm going to say that every bachelor needs to be prepared to let go of. And I believe it's a very difficult list because it doesn't have any superficial things. These are things that would go against the grain of most of society. And you might even find that fundamentally you disagree with the sacrifice or these sacrifices that you have to make. But I assure you, you cannot have the bachelor's life, truly live a bachelor's life and have these things in that life. And at the top of that list are those goddamn kids, your children. Now, I'm not talking about the children that you have now. Those children you have to take care of. Those are living, breathing people that are going to drain your resources, but by law, you must care for what you have made. And the things, or rather the kids that you need to be afraid of are the ones that are not born yet, the ones that are still to come, your future children, the ones that you haven't had. Those are the ones that you need to stop from coming into this earth. You need to get that vasectomy. This is why kids are at the top of the list. Go and get your vasectomy. You cannot anticipate your children's personality or their outcomes. You cannot foresee, no matter how good you are as a parent, what their destiny will be. You cannot guarantee it, right? So don't even take that chance. If you know you want to be a bachelor, look, if you want to have kids, you're probably going to be a knee bender anyway. But if you are determined to live a bachelor's life, you have to let go of those kids. You have to let go of those dreams of legacy and generational wealth. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening even if you want it to happen, right? If you dream of this generational wealth thing, right, this legacy thing, all you're doing is you're going to set yourself up for failure just to discover that you're going to have kids that aren't even interested in the things that you want to do. So the first thing you have to sacrifice are those future kids. Second, right next to those kids, in fact, I'd put them on the same level, is the counterpart. Man, you need to let go of your counterpart. I don't care if you're in a relationship, if you guys are close and happy and in love. It's all going to change if you get her pregnant. It's all going to change if you get her knocked up and she's got to stop working and stop living her life to be a mom, right? It's going to ruin her and she is going to ruin you. When you are dealing with the counterpart, you have to keep the end in mind, right? This is from the 7 habits of successful people. It says start with the end in mind. And you have to keep that end in mind. You have to know that if I'm with this person for long enough, there are only 3 possible outcomes, maybe 4. The first outcome is we break up and she moves on. The second outcome is we get married and we have kids. The third outcome is we have kids, but we're not married. Right? Your best solution is a breakup. The other 2 are catastrophic. Absolutely catastrophic. Marriage, you're only going to be in it for 8 to 10 years before you lose everything you've invested. And remember, these are going to be your best and most productive years. So you get married at whatever age you are. After that, you just get older and older and older. You're not going backwards. So you're spending your most productive years, quite frankly, in an unsatisfying situation with a disgruntled counterpart that that you're probably just going to end up going to war with. The romance war, fought in the courts, right? Trying to get the last little bit of dignity that you can after you've spent 8 years slaving away for somebody who's quite frankly is just an ungrateful wannabe princess, right? Who's not really a princess. Now you have to live in this delusion trying to convince this person that there's something that they are not and something that they will never be. Royalty, right? It's a fact of life. We all have to accept it. But, these are people who take being told the truth as an insult. You tell her she's short, it's an insult. You tell her she's gaining weight, it's an insult. You tell her she's not a princess, it's an insult, even though all those things are true. So ultimately, you're going to end up living a delusion and you're going to pay money to be treated like a fool, trying to, do, what do they call these things, chore play. What nonsense. What nonsense. Now I gotta mop the floor to turn you on. Not a single woman in the world was ever turned on by a man mopping the floor or folding goddamn towels. Let that counterpart go. You don't need those problems. You don't need those problems. You're better off alone. I'm telling you the truth. And ultimately, the end result is misery. You get her pregnant, it's gonna lead to misery, right? There's no joy like on the clips where you're changing diapers and classical music suddenly starts to play. There's none of that. It's kicking, screaming, and it stinks. So don't get yourself involved in a counterpart, right? The truth is that for most benders, getting a counterpart is their primary objective, right? So telling them not to do it is an insult to their way of life. What else are they going to do if they're not chasing down a counterpart? The third thing that you want to let go of are those very same knee benders that I'm talking about. Now, these could be people that you consider friends. These are people who are going to be, when you're young, everybody's always talking about how they're going to get a woman, how they can pleasure a woman, and how they are attractive to their opposite gender, right? These are conversations of childish young men who have no understanding of the consequences of their actions or inactions, right? So, growing up, being considered a virgin, even at 13, 14, which is perfectly appropriate, one is insulted for it and being told, well, you can't get a woman, you can't do this, and you can't do that. And the truth is, you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to. The only time you should be having sex with a woman is if you want to get her pregnant and have kids, because that's what you're going to do. You cannot be doing it for fun, for sport, right? And young men don't discuss this. And older men are just as bad, right? They'll talk about all the things, all the tricks, all the talents that you have to acquire and keep a woman. But what they don't tell you are those disastrous consequences and the misery that they have to live with on a day-to-day basis. Your friends, the knee benders, are lying to you every single day, trying to convince you to ruin your life just as they did, just so they can sit around and say you're a happy wife, happy life. No, sir. Absolutely not. Right? My life. Right? I will make myself happy in my life. Thereby, I must sacrifice my knee bending friends. Right? But let's be honest. Your friends are really more like competitors and rivals rather than teammates and helpers. Your colleagues at work are your teammates because you have to work together towards a cause, making money for this company. But outside of that, what you really find is that your friends support completely different teams. They have completely different tastes in food, completely different tastes in activities. And ultimately, whatever success you have, they're jealous of it, they're vindictive of it, and they'll be setting you up in ways that you cannot anticipate. So things like your friends will be having affairs with your girlfriends, having affairs with your wives. And if you think about it, most affairs don't happen with random strangers far, far away. They happen with somebody that they know, that they've had time to build a rapport with, and to learn their schedule against your schedule so they can accommodate them. So they know, well, my husband's at work at this time, or he'll be away on this weekend. I can use this time to entertain his friend. Right? It's always your friends. It's never a stranger that's going to get you in the end. It's always your own people. And your friends are dangerous. And they're not just dangerous because of their competitive, jealous, vindictive nature. They're dangerous because they're stupid. They're reckless and they're careless with their body, right? So since the time that you were kids, men jumping off of buildings into swimming pools, right? The internet is full of this stuff. Jumping from one rooftop to the next, right? Jumping from one unstable foundation to the next. And in the middle of that is this chasm of space that you could just plummet into. And they do this day after day after day. And they do it for what? For likes, for approval, for the approval of strangers, right? And it starts with this kind of recklessness and carelessness with your own body that then translates into physical intimacy. And now he's sleeping with every single woman that he can find to prove that he is the most attractive, risking his body, getting women pregnant, catching STDs, and then inducing you to follow the same stupidity, right? You got to let go of people like that, right? Their minds are not right. Their minds are not right. And their money is going to follow the same pattern, right? So if they're careless with their body, they're partying all night, not sleeping, not killing it in the gym, taking illicit substances, and then going forward to have intimate relations under those circumstances. All they want to do is chase down counterparts. That's all they want to do, and they'll spend all their money doing that. So they went from pulling stunts, dangerous stunts as teenagers, risky stunts as teenagers, to pulling, intimacy stunts as adults, right? And if they are constantly talking about the new idea that they're going to get to make money, right? Because they may not tell you that they are in financial dire straits. So what they'll be saying are things like, I'm starting a new business, or I'm investing in something new, something that yesterday they never even mentioned and know nothing about. They watched a YouTube video and decided that they're going to become a day trader. And the next week they're going to be a rapper. And the next week they're going to start a podcast. And they're never consistent with any of the things that they start. You need to pull away from people like that. And you need to focus on what you need to do for the next 10 to 15 years, that career that's going to make you money, right? That's what you need to focus on. So let go of those knee-bending friends. You need to cut them out swiftly, and move on to living the bachelor life. The next people you need to let go of, right, and you need to sacrifice are your relatives. Because male or female, what you're going to find is inevitably a knee bender or a counterpart. Now, that knee bender could be your father. That knee bender could be your uncle, could be your brother, it could be your grandfather, trying to convince you to sacrifice your life, your freedom, your comforts, your peace of mind, your commitment, and your bachelor life to a counterpart the way that they did. And they'll say things like, oh, it's natural. It is not natural for you to be with a counterpart. You were not born with a counterpart. On your birth, it was not decreed that this is now the ancient one, this is your counterpart, and the two of you shall live your life together. No. It is so unnatural that you have to go out of your way to find someone and meet someone and socialize with someone. There are men who will contact 100 women. You need to go through 100 women just to get one? That's absurd. And if you have family members advising you to go out and seek a woman and seek a counterpart and start a family, those people are not looking out for your best bachelor interests. Because once you are in that commitment, they're going to tell you to man up. And they're going to say, well, I never told you to marry her. When they did. They did. Not only did they tell you once, they told you almost every day for your entire life. And when you didn't have a woman, they mocked you for it and belittled you for it and told you that you were not a real man until you got a counterpart. And it comes from right in your family. You were raised this way. You were raised to follow up a counterpart. And you cannot do that because you can't rely on a counterpart. These are people, the counterparts, they don't even keep the promises they make to themselves. You think they're going to keep a promise to you? By the time you meet a counterpart at 21 years old and you are legal and she's legal and both of you are ready to start whatever type of life, you've missed 2 decades of constant social conditioning. She's just being trained and trained and trained day after day after day, if not by her parents and her father, who is a knee bender, who is probably the primary concern in your relationship, treating her like a princess, setting unreasonable standards for you to live up to, expensive standards, right? If your father is telling you to walk into that situation, if your uncle is telling you to walk into that situation, with an unreliable, unscrupulous person, he's going to leave you there. He's not going to be walking down that path with you every single day. He's not going to pay a single bill, right? So you need to go get your vasectomy, and you need to make sure that you don't tell a single person in your family about it. And definitely don't tell your friends, Because the first thing they're going to do is, as soon as you're with a counterpart, they're going to mention to the counterpart that you have this advantage, and the counterpart is going to scatter. Because as soon as counterparts hear that word, vasectomy, they know all leverage is gone. All their power is gone. The threat of a pregnancy and ruining your life is completely out. And this is the nuclear bomb of relationships. She drops that bomb on you, it's 20 years of destruction. It's 20 years of destruction. When they dropped that atom bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, an extremely tragic event in human history, right? Killing hundreds of thousands of people. That city was able to recover in less than 20 years. I think 15 years people were able to then reoccupy after a nuclear blast. The point that I'm making with this example, with this analogy, is that if you are in with a counterpart and they put you on that child support, it's 18 to 21 years of just constant pain. You might as well have a nuclear bomb dropped on you. You'll recover faster than you would on child support and alimony. And it's going to be your relatives, the knee benders, your uncles, your cousins, your nephews, your brothers that are going to be telling you, hey, you need to get a woman. And the women in your family are just as bad. They are just as bad. They are sending you down the wrong path. And every time they meet you, when are you getting married? When are you getting married? That is social conditioning. And they are sending you down a path of failure. And the sad thing is that they don't even know they're doing it. They think they're doing you a favor. They think they're doing what is right, fixing a problem, which is your bachelorhood. Just remember that when people see your bachelorhood, they see it as a problem that they need to fix, an equation that they need to solve. And how do they solve that? By putting you in the part of a counterpart who is ultimately going to ruin your life. And when that life is ruined, they'll be standing there and say, oh yeah, ha ha ha, I understand because I'm going through the same thing. And what they'll tell you is that it's normal. That, yeah, it's perfect, fine. They do these things. Don't worry about it. And now you're forced to justify nonsense. You are forced to tolerate and justify nonsense because this is now a social thing, right? So you're in it, they're in it, and everybody's like, well, this happens to me too, and let's all deal with it in the same way. And by dealing with it, they mean not dealing with it at all. Just kowtowing to a person that they submitted to. You bent the knee to that person and you indicated that you were inferior to them. That's what bending the knee means. It means to surrender to a superior power. And now you're all going to be sitting there with your uncles and aunts and everybody complaining about each other. Complaining about, well, why is my wife doing this and why is my wife doing that? Because she can. And there's nothing you can do about it. She can do whatever the hell she wants. You gave her the power when you signed that marriage contract, that assets combining contract between you, your spouse, and the national government of your country. And you did it to yourself. The ultimate thing that you have to sacrifice as a bachelor is going to be physical sexual intimacy. This is until you get your vasectomy and you become a vasectomite. For many bachelors who have not yet engaged in physical intimacy and you're still a virgin, I want you to know that you've been completely misled about this entire experience. Yes, there is an element of pleasure to it, but that element of pleasure is minute compared to the consequences that you're going to face. I cannot tell you how bad it's going to be for you to be a father and have kids with a woman that hates you. It is the most terrible thing you can experience, right? Because this is your flesh and your blood, and you will have no connection to them. And nobody's going to tell you that this is what you're walking through. This is what you are signing up for. The opportunity to ruin your life in ways that you cannot control. And nobody is going to prepare you for that. So if you haven't been intimate with a woman and you are looking forward to it, just understand you are going to ruin your life. Until you get a vasectomy, you cannot be certain that you are safe. Now, if you want to bend the knee and you want to have these kids, go ahead. I won't be there to save you, that's for sure. I can guarantee that I will not be there for a single moment of these children's life. But you will have to be there one way or another. So before you go into this, be warned. Be warned. Receive this warning, because you're not going to get it from your family. You're not going to get it from your relatives, right? They give it to you when you're young, when they just try to prevent you from getting involved altogether. But then at a certain age, 15, 16, 17, 18, 21, you're going to decide you want to jump into that pool of dirty water, and what you're going to find is nothing but sharks. And they are going to eat you up. You start at 21, you'll be 41 by the time you're done cleaning up the mess that you made in one night. It'll take you 20 years to clean up the mess that you made in one night. And by the time you're done, you won't even recognize yourself. You're going to be trying to turn back the hands of time and fix and make up for those things that you missed. And you won't be able to, right? All your dreams will be completely wiped away in one bad night, right? And she may not even enjoy that night. It may not even be memorable to her, but now she has to live with those consequences. So go get a vasectomy, guys. Go get that vasectomy, right? If you are unsure about it, freeze your sperm first. Leave that option open for yourself, and then get that vasectomy. And then go into this world seeing who people really are, and they will expose their intentions in the worst ways, and it'll shock you. You will forever be grateful that you got that vasectomy. But remember, if you really truly want to be a bachelor, you must lose that which you love. You must lose that which you love. Any person can lose something that they hate, right? It's the easiest thing to do in the world, but to lose that which you love takes strength. It takes courage. It is real sacrifice. And you need to make that sacrifice in order for you to be a bachelor. It is not possible any other way. And the biggest sacrifice you will ever make is going to be to your future kids. You cut those kids out of your life, you get that vasectomy, and you forget about them. And you can look to the glory and the beauty and the wonder that is the bachelor life. And this is the best thing for you. Get a vasectomy. Do not hesitate. Do not think twice about it. Do your research. Talk to your urologist. Schedule that appointment. Pay him. Pay the man or the woman in full. They are worth every cent. Get a vasectomy. And make the sacrifice. It'll be the best decision you've ever made in your life. This is the Ancient One, the Bachelor Supreme. Thank you for your attention. I really appreciate it. Have a lovely day.